Hello students, today we will take up another very famous poetess of Indian English poetry. You all must have heard the name of Sarojini Naidu. She was brought up in an enlightened atmosphere as her father was a professor at Nizam's College, Hyderabad, and her mother was also a poetess. She was born poetess. She inherited the poetic instinct from her mother and she began to write poetry from a very early age. She was a brilliant student who secured the first rank in matriculation examination. She was an interested reader and read books of varied interest. At the age of 15, she fell in love with a young doctor, Govindaraju Naidu. Her parents did not give their consent and immediately she was sent to Madras, which is now known as Chennai, and then to England. There she came in contact with Edmund Gosse, under whom her poetic genius flowered and bore fruits. On her return from England, she married her lover who belonged to a different caste. Thus, she became Sarojini Naidu. She published 3 volumes of verse during her lifetime. Her meeting with Gandhi brought about a complete change in her life. She became a fighter for India's freedom. In 1925, she became the president of Indian National Congress. She travelled extensively both in India and outside India. She was arrested many times and suffered imprisonment more than once because she was our freedom fighter. After independence, she was appointed the first Indian governor of United Province, which is now known as Uttar Pradesh. Sarojini Naidu was a fascinating personality. She was a great orator. She was one of the most prominent women of India. She was a great poetess and a national leader. She was a front rank fighter for our country's freedom under Mahatma Gandhi's leadership. Sarojini Naidu wrote poems in English based on Indian themes. Her lyrics were so sweet that she was nicknamed as the Nightingale of India or Bharat Kokila. She was the first Indian poetess who achieved considerable fame by writing her poems in English. She sang of Indian customs and traditions and wrote many love poems. Her poems are marked with striking pictorial and musical effects. She was an ardent feminist. She did her best to break down the barriers of Parda system. Her works include The Golden Threshold, The Bird of Time, The Broken Wing, The Feather, Pastimes, etc. etc. So today we will take up one of the most famous poems written by Sarojini Naidu, and the title of the poem is The Village Song. Now, before we begin with the poem, let us first of all do the summary of this poem. This poem was written in English on Indian theme. In this poem, the village girl has gone to fetch water. The way to the panchat is long and lonely. You all must be aware of panchat. It is a place where Indian village women go to fetch water for their family. There she gets delayed because she is tempted by a boatman's song. The night starts falling and there is no moonlight to show her path in the dark. She imagines the dangers which may befall her. She will die if a snake bites her in the darkness, or an evil spirit smites her or throws its wicked charms on her. She thinks that her brother and mother must be worried about her. The river Jamuna's waters are deep and the night is dark. She thinks of those possible dangers. Supposing if the storm breaks suddenly, what will happen to her? Where will she hide herself safely from the lightning? In such a danger, she believes that only God will come to her rescue and help her in taking her home safely. The village girl is confident of the divine help at such a time. So to begin with, we will first of all start. Full are my pitchers and far to carry. What do you mean by pitchers? Pitchers means the large vessels which are used for fetching water. We call them gada or matka. So she has filled her pitcher, that is the vessel made of earthen, and she has to carry this pitcher on her head. The way is very long and lone, means lonely. Why, oh why was I tempted to tarry? She is asking a question to herself, that why was she lured, why was she tempted to stay on for such a long time? Had she not stayed on, she would have reached her home safely. But now, as so much of her time has been wasted, lured by the boatman's song, she was attracted by the boatsman's song, and that is why she wasted away her time listening to that song. Swiftly the shadows of the night are falling, means she now is engulfed in darkness because it is night time, and quickly the darkness is engulfing around her. Hence she feels afraid and she regrets. Why was she charmed to stay back so late? Here, oh here, is the white crane calling. So now she can hear even the crying of the white crane, that is a bird with long neck or legs, and she is confused whether it is the crane calling or is it the wild owl's cry. As we all know, owls, they hoot at the night time. So it suggests that the night has fallen, and that is why she can hear the owl calling or hooting. There are no tender moonbeams to light me, and as we see that there is no moon in the sky, it is dark, and there are no moonbeams, means moonlight, to guide her way, to show the way in the dark. If in the dark, what happens? Supposing a serpent should bite me, means supposing if she is on her way and bitten by a snake, or if an evil spirit should smite me. Evil spirit means the spirits, ghosts, etc. So these are all superstitions which the village people still believe in. She supposing if the evil spirit casts its wicked charm on me, Ram Re Ram, I shall die. So this is an typical exclamation used by the countrymen, and it is common in the moments of fear and anxiety. So she is afraid of the darkness and she is all alone. So she imagines the possible dangers that might befall her. In the second stanza, she imagines that her brother and her mother might also be getting worried about her as she is delayed in her way. My brother will murmur, why doth she linger? Murmur means complaint or grumble. She imagines that the brother might be grumbling and complaining. Why doth she linger? Why has she wasted her time in lingering and not reaching home? My mother will wait and weep. She imagines that the mother might be waiting for her anxiously and weeping, and at the same time praying to God, saying, "Oh, safe may the great gods bring her." She prays to God in her hour of need and asks them to bring her, means the daughter, safely back home. The Jamuna's waters are deep because it is raining, and that is why the waters of the Jamuna river are also rising. So there is a risk of being drowned by the Jamuna's water. The Jamuna's waters rush by so quickly, means the flow of the water is also very quick, so she might get drowned. The shadows of evening gather so thickly. Here is a comparison. Just like the black birds gather quickly in the sky, similarly the shadows which fall in the evening. So she is a bit frightened. Oh, if the storm breaks, what will betide me? The village girl, she sees the shadows and the blackbirds in the sky, which suggests that it has grown dark. The village girl is afraid and she thinks, what will happen if the storm breaks means the storm comes. Who will save her? And what will betide me means what will happen to her supposing the storm breaks. Safe from the lightning, where shall I hide me? And she is also afraid of the lightning, the thunder which accompanies the rain. And she says there is no place where she would find shelter. Unless thou succor my footsteps and guide me. So she is praying to God. Thou stands for God. She says only the Almighty God can drive her safely home. Only God can show her the way. Guide me means show her the way to home. Ram Re Ram, I shall die means without the help of Almighty, she is sure to die. So she is praying to God, the Almighty, to protect her and to help her reach safely home.